Dear children, today we are going to study the experimental study of photoelectric effect. So this is the schematic arrangement to study the photoelectric effect. So here we are going to study the relation between intensity of light and photocurrent, then potential difference between the plates A and C, etc. Okay, so the schematic arrangement consists of an evacuated glass tube or quartz tube having a photosensitive plates, cathode and the anode. Two photosensitive plates are there, cathode and the anode. Cathode is the emitter plate because it emits electrons, and anode is the collector plate because it collects electrons. Cathode is noted as C and the anode is noted as C. Then a monochromatic source of light is placed near the evacuated glass tube. Monochromatic light means light with a single color. And a quartz window is attached to the glass tube. Then a commutator is also connected to the cathode and the anode. Commutator is used to change the polarity of the potential between the cathode and the anode. When these two leads are connected, then the cathode becomes the positive potential, and when these two leads are connected, then the anode becomes the negative potential. Then we can change the polarity by when you are connecting these two leads, then the cathode becomes the negative potential, and when these two are connecting, then the anode becomes the positive potential. So in this way we can change the polarity of the polarity of the cathode and the anode. Then a microammeter is used to measure the current flowing through the circuit, and an voltmeter is used to measure the voltmeter. Then the battery and the rheostat is also connected. Then when the light falls from the monochromatic source to the emitter, then the electrons are emitted from the circuit. Then we should make the collector positive potential and the emitter negative potential. So when the light falls on the cathode, that is the emitter plate, electrons are emitted, then the current flows through the circuit. Then the potential difference between the cathode and the anode is measured by the voltmeter, and the current flowing through the circuit is measured by the microammeter. So we can increase the photocurrent by varying the potential difference between the collector and the emitter plate. And the intensity and the frequency of the incident light also we can vary. So we can change the frequency of the light by using the appropriate colored filter or colored glass in the path of light, or we can cover the source bulb with some color filter, or we can use some colored glass like that. So we can change the frequency of the light source, and also we can change the intensity of light by changing the distance of the light source. When you place the source light very near to the evacuated glass tube, we can increase the intensity of light, and we can place the light source far away from the evacuated glass tube, we can decrease the intensity of light source. So in this way we can change the intensity of the light. So using this arrangement we are going to study the variation of photocurrent with intensity of radiation, then frequency of incident radiation, and the potential difference between the plate A and C, etc. Okay, so this is the experimental study of photoelectric effect. Now we are going to study the effect of intensity of light on photocurrent. So that means how the photocurrent varies when the intensity of light varies. So first you have to keep the frequency of the light source fixed and the potential, accelerating potential to be fixed. That is the emitter plate to be the positive, that is the emitter plate to be the negative potential, and the collector plate to be the positive potential. Okay, we can fix the polarity, that is collector A. Collector A is maintained at a positive potential with respect to the emitter C. Then what happens here? And we are keeping the frequency also fixed. Then from the monochromatic source, we are using that means ultraviolet light is using as the monochromatic source of light. So the light falls on this emitter plate. So the emitter plate is the negative potential. So when the light falls on the emitter plate, then the electrons are emitted from the emitter plate and it is collected by the collector, because the collector is the positive potential. So that positive collector plate, anode, attract the electrons. Then what happens here? Then the photocurrent flows through the circuit. So when you increase the intensity of light, then more number of electrons are emitted from the emitter plate. Then the photocurrent increases in the circuit. So in this way, we can see that when the intensity of the incident light increases, photocurrent also increases. So we can say that photocurrent is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident light. Okay, the photocurrent is directly proportional to the number of photoelectrons emitted per second. So intensity of incident light increases means number of photoelectrons emitted per second. Intensity of incident light increases, the number of photoelectrons emitted per second increases. Isn't it? Intensity decreases, number of photoelectrons emitted per second decreases. So photocurrent is directly proportional to the number of photoelectrons emitted per second. So we can say that the number of photoelectrons emitted per second is directly proportional to the intensity of the incident radiation. So we can plot a graph between the intensity of light and the photocurrent. So these two are directly proportional to each other. So what should be the nature of the graph? It should be a straight line. Okay, it should be a straight line because intensity of light increases. That is, the number of photoelectrons emitted increases, then the photocurrent increases in the circuit. These two are directly proportional to each other, and so the graph should be a straight line. Clear? Number 2, effect of potential on photocurrent. When the potential changes, how the photocurrent varies. So for that, you should keep the intensity of the incident light and frequency of the incident light to be fixed. You should vary the potential between the emitter plate and the collector plate. First, you should keep the collector potential to be positive and emitter potential to be negative. So what happens here? When the incident light falls on the emitter, then the electrons emitted from the emitter and the positive collector potential collect the electrons and the photocurrent flows through the circuit. You again increase the collector potential to be positive. So by increasing this positive collector potential, the number of electrons attracted by the collector to be increases and the photocurrent in the circuit increases. So for the fixed intensity, okay, intensity means it is proportional to the number of photoelectrons emitted per second. So intensity is not changing, intensity is fixed. So when you increase the collector potential again and again, the number of electrons emitted, attracted by the collector, then the photocurrent increases. So in this way, when you increase the collector potential, a stage is reached. At this stage, the photocurrent becomes maximum. Okay, photocurrent becomes maximum. That is, for the fixed intensity, all the number of electrons, all the electrons from the emitter are collected by the collector. So the photocurrent becomes maximum. Then when you increase the collector potential again, there is no electrons are emitted from the emitter because here the intensity is fixed. So all the number of electrons are emitted by the emitter and it is collected in the collector plate. So the current becomes a maximum value. This maximum value of the photoelectric current is called the saturation current. Okay, after that, when the current becomes maximum, there is no increase in the current. There is no change in the current. There is no increase in the current. Current becomes maximum. Isn't it? So, further increasing the collector potential, there is no increase in the photocurrent because the photocurrent is maximum. All the electrons emitted by the emitter plate are collected by the collector. Clear? This we can draw it in a graph. So, this is the collector potential and this is the photocurrent. So, when the collector potential, that is the anode potential. Collector means it is the anode. So, when you increase the collector potential, that is the anode potential, it should be the positive. So, when you increase this one, what happens? The photocurrent increases and increases. When you again increase the collector potential, photocurrent again increases. So, at a particular stage, when you increase the collector potential, the photocurrent becomes maximum. This maximum value of photocurrent is known as the saturation current. That is for the fixed intensity. This is the saturation value. Okay, saturation current. So, further increasing of collector potential, there is no increase in the photocurrent. That is, photocurrent is the maximum. So, this maximum value of photocurrent is called the saturation current. Now we change the polarity of the emitter and the collector. Apply negative potential on collector and a positive potential on emitter. So we can see that the photocurrent decreases and rapidly and becomes zero, because when the polarity is reversed, the collector is negative. So what happens here? The electrons are repelled because the collector is negative. So only the most energetic electrons emitted from the emitter are able to reach the collector. Because of this reason, the photocurrent decreases rapidly. Then, when you increase the negative potential again, then the photocurrent becomes zero because the electrons emitted from the emitter are repelled by this negative potential, because the negative potential at the collector is very high. So, it repels the electrons. So, there should be no current flows through the circuit. That is, the photocurrent becomes zero. So, for a particular frequency of the incident radiation, the minimum negative potential given to the collector for which the photocurrent stops or becomes zero is called the cutoff potential or the stopping potential. So simply we can say that the cutoff potential or the stopping potential is the potential at which the photocurrent becomes zero. Okay, the potential at which the photocurrent becomes zero. That potential is known as the cutoff potential or the stopping potential. So, at the stopping potential V0, we can note it as V suffix 0, V0, stopping potential V0. When no electrons are emitted, then the work done by the stopping potential on the fastest electron must be equal to its kinetic energy. Because when the electrons are, that is most energetic electrons are emitted from the emitter and reaches the collector. So, at the stopping potential, what happens? The kinetic energy of these electrons must be equal to the work done by this negative potential. So, when these two are equal, when the maximum, that is kinetic energy of the fastest electron is equal to the work function, then there should be no electrons flows through the circuit. Okay, so the electrons repel back because the collector is at a high negative potential. So, when the work done by the negative potential is equal to the kinetic energy of this emitted electrons, then no electrons flows through the circuit, then the photocurrent becomes zero. This we can plot it in the graph. So, here the retarding potential is increasing, that is the negative potential at the anode is increasing, that is known as the retarding potential. So when the negative potential increases, then the electrons repel back, only the most energetic electrons reaches the collector, so the photocurrent decreases and decreases, and at a particular value of the retarding potential the photocurrent stops, it becomes zero. This value of retarding potential at which the photocurrent becomes zero, that is known as the stopping potential, or we can say that it is the cut-off potential. So at the stopping potential V0, no electrons are emitted. The work done by the stopping potential is equal to the maximum value of energy, that is maximum value of kinetic energy of the fastest electron. So we can write K maximum equal to half mv square equal to EV0. So at this condition the photocurrent is 0. Okay, at the stopping potential V0, no electrons are emitted. So what is the condition? That is maximum value of kinetic energy of the electron must be equal to the work function of the or work done by the stopping potential. Clear? So this is the effect of potential on photocurrent. So when you change the polarity of the potential at the collector and the emitter, we can draw the graph like this. For a fixed intensity, when the collector potential increases, then the photocurrent increases and becomes a saturation value. This maximum value of photoelectric current is known as the saturation current. Then when you change the polarity and when you increase the negative potential at the collector, then the photocurrent decreases and becomes zero. So at a particular value of the negative potential, the photocurrent becomes zero. That retarding potential, that negative potential is known as the stopping potential or the cut-off potential. Clear? Now you repeat the experiment with various intensity. But intensity should be fixed. But you should take the higher intensity. So first we draw for the intensity I1. Now you change the intensity I2 and I3. But the frequency fixed the same. Frequency is not changing. Only you should increase the intensity. Okay. I1 to I2. But intensity should be fixed and frequency should be fixed. Then next you increase the intensity I3, but frequency is fixed. Okay. So you repeat the experiment with incident radiation of the same frequency but of higher intensity. I3 greater than I2 and greater than I1. Then we can note that the saturation current is found to becomes higher. Saturation current becomes change. It should be of higher values. Okay, because it should be changes. But when you see this stopping potential remains the same. So what does this represents? That is, for a given frequency of incident radiation, the stopping potential is independent of its intensity. Stopping potential depends on the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons. So kinetic energy increases, then stopping potential also increases. We are keeping the frequency fixed. If you increase the frequency, kinetic energy also increases. Clear? If you increase the frequency, E equal to h nu. So if you increase the frequency, energy increases. When the energy increases, you should give more negative potential to stop the electrons. So when you keep the frequency fixed, the kinetic energy should be fixed. Kinetic energy is not changing. So stopping potential is not changing. Stopping potential is same when you keep the frequency fixed. Clear? So once again, for a given frequency of incident radiation, the stopping potential is independent of its intensity. In other words, we can say that the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons depends on the light source and the emitter plate material, but it is independent of intensity of incident radiation. Simply we can say that the maximum kinetic energy is independent of intensity of radiation. It depends on the frequency. So the stopping potential is independent of its intensity. So when you change the intensity, the stopping potential remains the same for a fixed frequency. Clear? Now the third one, the effect of frequency on photocurrent. So here you are keeping the intensity fixed and changing the frequency. So when you are keeping the intensity fixed, you get the saturation current like this when you change the polarity of collector and the emitter potential. So when you change the frequency, then what happens here? Then the kinetic energy of the incident electrons increases. So when the frequency increases, kinetic energy increases and we have to apply more negative potential to stop the electrons. So the stopping potential to be greater for the greater frequencies. When nu1, that is frequency is changing from nu1 to nu2, then you have to increase the stopping potential from V01 to V02. Then when you increase the frequency from nu2 to nu3, then you have to increase the stopping potential to stop the emitted electrons from V02 to V03. So this implies that greater the frequency of incident radiation, greater is the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons, and hence greater is the retarding potential required to stop such electrons completely. Okay. So we can say that frequency is independent, that is stopping potential is independent of intensity. Stopping potential depends only on the frequency of the incident radiation. Clear? And this is the graphical representation of the effect of frequency on photocurrent. So here for each frequency saturation current is same. Then when you increase the frequency, then for the new one we can draw the stopping potential, that is the graphical representation like this. When you change the nu2, then the graph is like this, and when you change the frequency to nu3, then the graph is like this. So this is the graphical representation of effect of frequency on photocurrent. So all these three graphs are very important in the examination point of view. Okay.